Wow, what a beautiful venue, our daughter Tricia's wedding. Thank you to Nick's Comedy Stop for putting my wife and I on your monthly payment plan. I'm so happy she's found someone after dating a lot, dealing with various online dating services, and especially even after looking through my files of eligible registered sex offenders at the police station. Good evening, my name is Tricia Auld. I am not a professional comedian. I'm actually the father of the headliner of this show tonight, Tricia Auld. Tricia is our middle child, and I mean right smack dab in the middle of 5 daughters my wife and I were blessed to help create. Wow. And what a creation she is. Yep. That's why I fucking look like I do, you know? We had 2 daughters, then Tricia, followed by 2 more twin girls. Man, the big guy upstairs has a really twisted and warped sense of humor. Right away at a very early age, as with each of our daughters, it was easy to see that Tricia had a very unique, independent, and spirited personality. She's one of the most loyal people I know, and that's the truth, almost to a fault. That was demonstrated when our dog, Peaches, died when Tricia was in 2nd grade. She paid tribute to Peaches by wearing the dog's grimy red collar around her neck for almost a month, until her teacher called us and said, "You know that is not appropriate?" Over the years, Tricia has also, and this is the truth, verbally and physically threatened every boyfriend that ever dared to hurt any of her sister's feelings. Don't fuck with my sisters, you know? I vividly recall when Tricia was in 1st grade, she wore a sweater to school one day, but took it off when she got to class, proudly revealing a Hooters sleeveless t-shirt. Yep, that's true. With an owl on the front with 2 big booby-doop eyes right here. And large lettering that said, "Hooters, more than a mouthful." Way to make us proud, Tricia, seriously. Since she was a little girl, Tricia has always been a person with plenty of passion and definitely attitude. And I remember this so clearly, her sitting on our front steps as a young child, eating candy as fast as she could unwrap it. Our mailman stopped to deliver our mail, and as I stood just inside our front door listening to the conversation, he said to her, "Wow, all that candy is not good for you. It will make you fat and give you cavities and spoil your dinner." Tricia's response was to reply, "I don't know about all that, but my grandfather is still alive and he's really old." The mailman answered, "What, by eating lots of candy?" Tricia answered, "No, by minding his own fucking business." Anyway, I could go on and on about Tricia. I have a million crazy stories about each of our daughters, as I'm sure any parent has about their own kids. But I'm here to start off the wedding. So, without further ado, I want to invite my daughter, Tricia Auld, to the stage.
My father, who said he was doing 7, did 45. We're actually really lucky because usually he starts his wedding speeches out with 10 to 15 minutes on all the deceased people who aren't here. Like, hey, did you forget about Grammy? Not here today. I'm like, fuck, Dad. I was having a good time. He's like, no, I know. I was just checking in. My dad knows more about tampons than my GYN. Like, he knows the supers, the mediums, the baby. Like, he knows it all. He can be around me and be like, you're getting it. I can just see it in your eyes. You have, like, that smell. I get it. Like, you don't know this, but you're gonna cause 6 fights with our family within the next day. Then you're not gonna bleed because you got an IUD. But you have your period, bitch. I don't know if anyone received them. I made save the dates out for my wedding. Yes. I spent $300 on save the dates, and I did hand them out at various family parties. Handed one to my sister, so excited. She takes one look at it, she's like, oh, cute. There's no date on it. I was fucking crushed. But anyone that knows my mother knows that I get her attention to detail. Thank you, Mom. I'm from a very progressive family. You guys might see that there's not a man here tonight at my wedding. Dude, I just literally saw both my parents light up. They're like, she's doing it, she's coming out. Tonight is the night, all our friends and family here. Dude, they've always wanted to be the family that like overcomes it, you know? They're like, a cop and a teacher, a gay child, that could be our family. We'll overcome it, we'll do so well, we'll be so accepting, that's us. I told my niece, this is how progressive my family is. I told my niece I was getting married. Isabel Ray took me by the hand, went for a walk with me, and she stopped and she just said, Auntie Tricia? I said, yes. She said, I really, really, really want another uncle. Or auntie, whatever you choose. Like, where's this kid getting this? Everyone's been super supportive of my wedding day, everyone, and I have been bridezilla. I didn't want to give my family an inch. I'm like, if I'm doing this, you guys are getting the full fucking experience. I'm like, bitch, if you look skinnier than me on my fucking special day. This is the best. This is the most supportive my family was. My grandmother has 10 granddaughters, 10 of them. For each engagement, she knits them an engagement Afghan. She found out about my wedding and was like, fuck it, I guess this is my one chance. So I now have an engagement Afghan for this night. And you know what? Grammy didn't even show up. So thanks for the blanket. Honestly, her timing for this was much better than her timing for my cousins. My cousin got married and announced her divorce, and then my grandmother shipped her Afghan. But to be fair, my cousin's a lesbian, so they move real quick. When my cousin goes on a third date, I'm like, where are you headed? The U-Haul and to look at apartments? She's like, actually, yeah. We found a great place. We signed the lease. I can't wait for you to see the roof deck. I'm like, I can't wait for this to unravel as quickly as it started. Yeah. If I was a lesbian mom and dad, I would have been married and divorced 7 times by now. My parents discussed that I'm independent. I am an independent woman. They did leave out some parts, like that story about my dog Peaches, for instance. Like, my dad loves telling that story. He always tells it to the neighbors. He loves telling the neighbors, remember when Tricia is so sad that the dog died? She wore the leash she wore the collar and dragged the leash around crying out, Peaches! 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 And all the neighbors will look at me and be like, oh my God, Tricia, that's so sad. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Where were that fucking girl's parents? Is that an appropriate way to mourn a loss? Now you people are surprised that I'm dragging Corey's lacrosse stick like, Corey! Married with a family. It's just like, it's been a decade, bitch. He ain't coming back. My dad also didn't mention, because it makes my mom look like a bad mom, but I will. When I turned 5, my mother had twin daughters. Guess what? I wasn't a fucking priority. My mom told me throughout my whole childhood into adulthood, I believed it until about yesterday, that I wasn't socially ready for kindergarten. Me. I wasn't socially ready for kindergarten, so they held me out an extra year. Bitch, you forgot to sign me up! She should have just said, listen, Trish, I had 2 babies on each of my tits. I didn't think your education was important. As a female in comedy, and as you guys can see, I'm clearly very attractive. Settle down. I just made eye contact with a guy who was like, you're not that hot. I'm like, all right, taking your feedback, thank you. For this industry, I'm reasonably attractive. And yeah, I didn't say I was an Instagram model. When you're in this business as a woman though, people often ask me what the most sexist things I experience or what the biggest challenges are. And I'll tell you, for me, it's when I show up to shows to perform with a male comic and then everyone just assumes I'm their girlfriend. Right? It's so offensive. As if I would date someone poor. I don't have a lot of standards at this stage of my life, but some goals and dreams that are achievable, that's gonna be one. A 401k, that's another. Also, realistically, there can only be one egotistical piece of shit in the relationship. It's gonna be me. Thank you. I decided to have my wedding on an anniversary. I'm celebrating a 10-year anniversary tonight. Thank you. 10 years since my first arrest. Yeah. Dad didn't talk about that in his speech, you know? Do you know how hard I had to work to be a white woman who's kind of hot with a detective father and still get arrested? The reason I know the date of my arrest, though, is because my dad used to tell me throughout my whole childhood that my attitude was going to get in the way of me achieving my dreams. That was before Dad and I discussed that this is my dream. Proudly stand by my police report in which the arresting officer wrote, quote, during the booking process, Patricia got extremely sarcastic. But that just means I was myself, you know? He went on to write, quote, for example, I'm so glad he gave one. For example, when I asked Patricia if she was affiliated with any gangs, her response was, quote, no, but I've been dying to get in one if you know anyone. But then he wrote, preferably Asian, they have the best drugs, end quote. I read this out loud to my father over dinner because we have no boundaries. And my dad and I had like a profound moment of honesty. He looked me dead in the eyes. He was like, Trish, what the fuck? I just looked back at him and I go, dude, you're the one that sent me to UMass Lowell. His attitude immediately changed. He was like, Debbie, she's a hard worker. She workshopped that joke an extra year at UMass, my girl. I'm working on myself. You guys are like, really? No, I am. I'm working on myself. I'm in therapy. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. This looked like a sea of unself-aware, perfect people. Perfect. I'm working on myself. I had a session last week. My therapist sat me down and he was like, all right, Trish, throw some clothes on, let's get started. My sister just gave me mandated reporter eyes. I'm like, fucking settle down, this goddamn narc. I offered, he declined if you need to know the full story. He asked me to describe my depression to him, and I feel like I have this description nailed. I was like, sure, David, strap in. I was like, David, have you ever been so depressed that you've faked an orgasm? Sorry, while masturbating. Your knuckles deep, you're halfway there. You're like, you know what, bitch, you just don't deserve it. Why don't you finish the book on your nightstand before you finish yourself, you lazy piece of shit, you know? My fucking father laughs at that joke, okay? Settle down. Put a finger in you, for Christ's sake. I will be fair to the audience, because that's a really hard joke to do on stage, because I'm expecting the audience to understand masturbating and depression at the same time. Like, I'm looking in the audience, and like, some of you are happily fucking yourselves. You're like, I don't get the depressed part. The other half of you are like, I'm too depressed to even try. Basically looking for me out there. I'm 33 and I'm single. Thank you. Shit, that's an old joke. I'm 34 and I'm single. When you get to my stage of life and you're still alone, people want to offer you blind support because you haven't found your person, your partner, your best friend, your soulmate. Mine is definitely abroad. Like, I think he speaks another language. I'm gonna have to like get into some sort of program, be bilingual, and move. But I'm at a wedding recently, and this complete stranger comes up to me and she's like, Tricia, you're 34 and single. I'm like, that is correct information. Thank you. She's like, you need to find a husband. You need to get a husband. You need to invest in a husband. And I just responded naturally, and I was like, recently I did, and I just could never trust if he was with his wife and kids when he said he was. Adultery jokes are also not easy to do on stage. But I do them for me. And then I just look at the sea of married couples and I'm like, ma'am, I don't know what happened with your sister, but that's something you're gonna have to talk with him about after my show. I am on all the dating apps to try and meet someone that will see a redeeming quality in me. I am. And I did recently have some success on that new dating app, Uber. It's like, holy shit, you have a car and a job? Hello! This is a black guy. If he was white, it would have been this. You know, you get it. You get it. My dad's been trying to get the difference between Uber and Tinder because he's really trying to be up with technology. He gets so confused about the difference between Uber and Tinder. And I genuinely have to take some of the blame because recently we were on a family vacation and I left with John in a Honda Civic. He was like 25. Did not get home until the next morning, same outfit, but it was Ron with a minivan, couple of car seats in the back, like 52. That's when I had to explain to my dad, like, Dad, if that was Uber, I would have had to pay for it. Can't be left swiping a guy because he's got a couple of kids, you know? I'm financially irresponsible. I am. Financially irresponsible. I'll spend $300 on a jumpsuit and ask my dad $20 for gas the next day. Just living like J-Lo, but just a broke-ass bitch. Truly faking it till I make it. I don't even have a savings account. I thought a 401k was a savings account. But I refuse to accept that the reason that I had to take public transportation was because I was poor. I was like, I just like to be cultured. I like to see the people. But I recently upgraded to Uber Pools. Do you guys know that? That's when you take a car sharing service where you just trust that like not only the driver isn't gonna rape and kill you, but also the other 3 guys in the car. So instead of accepting how broke I am, I actually turn it positive like my mom would. I invest in roses before I go anywhere. And I pretend that I'm the bachelorette and this is my group date. At the end of the ride, I'm like, I'm sorry, Juan, your breath smells like shit. I cannot give you a rose. My dad's so cute. He really is trying to get up with technology. He asked me to get him an Uber the other day. It's like, Dad, you're getting it. You're doing it. I ordered my 65-year-old father an Uber. And then I watched him walk out to that driver and hand him printed out directions from the computer. I'm like, Dad, no! My rating went down that day. But then I went back up, you know? Whatever it takes, I want those 5 stars. I'm at the stage of life where I'm getting invited to shit I don't want to go to. Anyone here by obligation tonight? My Waltham friends? Yeah. Recently got a wedding shower invitation for my fucking sister. I have to attend this shit. Quick PSA, you're not supposed to pregame for those. Should not have been verging a blackout upon arrival. I was like, Dad, where's the DJ? He was like, keep her away from the open bar. I'm like, Dad, you didn't buy one. He's like, stay away from the nips in your purse. I'm like, good point. So my family did that thing that they do when you're the cancer of the family and they have to like figure out the play-by-play. They did the family huddle and they decided the best course of action was to give me a job to do at the event. Yahtzee! Mom? So they gave me a job to do. My job was to write down the gifts. I'm in my 30s, I'm single, I'm shit-faced. Abby should not have been surprised when she opened this gorgeous, I mean, it was just beautiful. It was this gorgeous porcelain. It was beautiful. It was just porcelain. I wrote down dildo. Apparently it was a paper towel holder. That bitch has a paper towel holder. I took that shit home with me. It's mine now. Yeah. Got invited to a baby shower. Yeah, another event I didn't want to attend. I went, and it was my sisters again. They're all just shitting out kids. And once again, they asked me to write down the gifts to keep me busy, because they don't know how lessons work. And I wrote down cum rag baby elephant on corner. Apparently, it was just a baby blanket. Perspective is everything. Yeah. This bit doesn't get better. This is the worst event that you can be invited to. If you have these events, God have mercy on your soul. The fucking gender reveal. I don't even care if I have a pulse. Now I have to care that you have a pulse and your husband has a pulse and together you made a perfect pulse. And I need to give a shit what gender that little baby is. So in 15 years it can look at me and be like, Tricia, I've been identifying as a woman this whole time. Invite me to that gender reveal. I will gladly attend. Caitlin will get her first porcelain paper towel holder. I'm like, this is how you use it. You just get right in there. Don't be shy. You gotta commit, you know? Work those thighs, girl. So I'm at a gender reveal recently, right? Because again, people don't learn the lesson. And the mommy's walking around all smug like you guys always do because you've been sober for 9 months. Like, so fucking annoying. And they're just like, oh my God, John and I had sex this very specific way. We've been really connecting with the baby. We've been doing yoga together, like family yoga with the baby. So I don't even need to cut the cake. I don't need to pop the balloon. Like, I already know it's gonna be I'm like, Gina, even I know when I have a baby dick in me. All right. I know we're in Boston, so you guys know I mean like just a small dick, not like a child's dick. Just like a small one, not like an infant child baby dick. It's a baby one, but not a baby one. I'm just not at the same stage of life as any of my girlfriends. I'm not. I accept it. I fully embrace it. My girlfriends were going to a baby shower, and my friend was like, Trish, I'll drive you. Mostly because I was still drunk from the night before. But, so I Uber to her place, and she's so excited. She's stoked. She just got a minivan. I'm like, oh my God, I just had sex with a one-night stand last night. Let's talk. Let's do it, you know? And she's showing me all the amenities, and I'm talking to her about the amenities on the guy. And she's driving in the front seat. My other pregnant friend is in the passenger seat. The middle row car seats, because apparently my friend is fucking loaded. I'm in the third seat, sipping on a road soda, trying to connect. Kate and Al are talking about a $600 stroller. I'm like, hey, I spent $600 on brunch recently. No one cares. It falls flat. Falls flat. But then Caitlin did the sweetest thing. She stopped at a red light. She turned her, wicked pregnant, super fat, wicked pregnant body around. And she was like, Trish, maybe you should get a minivan. I got the warm and fuzzies. I was like, oh my God, Caitlin thinks I could have a family one day. And I'm picturing my family, my house, the picket fence. My boys play hockey. I carry their shit around. It smells sometimes. It's fine. I love them. My husband and I still sleep together. We have like romance sometimes. And then she was like, so you can sleep in it when you're too drunk to drive. So I drive a minivan now, honestly. Great investment. Great investment for me. Thank you, sir. No, let that laugh breathe, sir. I like that. Thank you. I went to visit a friend of mine recently, also has a baby, and her baby is 9 months old, and he can't fucking hold on to anything, you know? Going to brunch with him is like a nightmare. I'm like, I don't think he's gonna be athletic, Alicia, if he can't hold on to this goddamn block. I wanted to support her. I wanted to show her my support. I know she's been like in the weeds with this new kid. So I tried to do something nice for her. I had been with her for a full week. I had been watching, paying attention. I'm 34 years old. I can handle myself. I was like, Alicia, go get yourself a mani-pedi and I'll watch the baby. I said it. I was like, I've been watching you. I know I can do this. I got this. She was like, are you sure? We had like a back and forth for a while. I was like, I got it. I've been watching. I know what to do. She goes, perfect. I'm going to put him down. All you have to do, if he wakes up, just feed him. I'm like, I got it. I can do it. So she leaves. I'm on my third glass of Sauv Blanc. And this little motherfucker wakes up. So I'm like, I can do it. I'm trying to feed him. And he's not latching. So now I'm aroused, he's hungry. I'm like, what comes first? You know? I can't perform at my maximum mom while I'm, you know, someplace else. I'm from a big family. I have 4 sisters. Yeah, my dad mentioned that. When we grew up, we all kind of took on our own personality and found our own way to get attention. You know, for Laura, it was always being the smart one. For Liz, it was always being the pretty one. For Abby, it was always being the creative one. And for Julie, it was always being the sweet one. Which, like, that's like a token adjective, Jules. You know that, right? We were like, shoot, what can we give her? I guess she's sweet sometimes. She actually is quite moody. We recently convinced Julie to go to a therapist instead of a psychic. Like that should have been her claim to fame. Anyways, I was the athlete of the family. Thank you. Yeah, don't woo too hard. You're not the athlete of a family of all women unless you're the one that was supposed to have a dick. You know what I mean? I was supposed to be my father's son, and I've been failing him every day since August 14th, 1984. It was never more obvious that he wanted a son than when he found out he was having the twins. He went in my bedroom and he painted it baby blue. Off to an odd start. And then he put on my walls a massive poster of Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith. Yeah, we have some football fans in the house. Those are 250-pound black professional athletes from, frankly, a state I didn't even know existed at the time. But hindsight is totally 2020 because it did totally prepare me for state college. Super comfortable sleeping under black men. Wasn't a big draw here tonight, but I do usually like to put out a little feeler like, hey, it wasn't just a phase, you know? Get the conversation going. I love you guys. I truly could not feel more blessed to have everyone in this room in my life. I'm deep down soft as shit, so if I cry, that's where it comes from. You all know. You're like, we know you, bitch. When I first started doing stand-up, my parents were like so blindly supportive of me, especially my dad. And he got me into a class, and he came to my shows. My mom's been to almost every show I've ever done. My sisters. But I remember when I wrote my first joke. I remember how it felt. I remember every part of it. And it was when my dad sat me down right after I started. I was talking about sucking dicks, having sex. I didn't know it was funny. I was just like, sex is kind of funny. Having a dick in your mouth? That's hilarious. Where should a dick go? Not in my mouth, but I'm gonna put it there, you know what I mean? I just thought it was so funny, so that's all I talked about. And he genuinely sat me down and he was like, Trish, I think you're so funny and I really support your comedy career, but what's with all the blowjob jokes? You gotta start telling everyday jokes that everyone can relate to. I just looked at my 65-year-old father and I was like, Dad, how are blowjob jokes not everyday jokes? It was like a light bulb went off. He just looked at me and he was like, I don't know, that's something we're both gonna have to ask your mother. Debbie! I could not have done this show without all the support of my friends and family, and thank you guys so much for being here. That has been my set, and this is my headlining show. This was my wedding. Thank you.
Tonight I got the bouquet at her wedding.
I had a really wonderful time at Tricia's wedding. I had good drinks.
What I liked best about it was Jimmy Auld.
So happy for your wedding day. I know this is a huge, momentous event for you, and I'm thrilled.
My daughter, Tricia, very proud of her.
Fantastic and hilarious and gorgeous and brilliant, and I'm so friggin' proud of her.
I had a blast at her wedding. She's my favorite comedian on this planet.
Thank you for always making us laugh.
Great show tonight. Oh my God, so many laughs, just perfect.
I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud that she had people from her college years, her 20 different jobs.
Mostly I'm thrilled because I have spent roughly the past 3 years being a hybrid role between your manager and your stylist. Ideally, this will catalyze just a world of fame for you moving forward, and then I will finally receive the compensation that I deserve.
Like all my daughters, every one of them, a lot of trouble. But you know what? I'd rather have trouble and love than just boring.
Now I'm going to go have a couple more drinks. So.